Good evening, namaste, adab, sat sri akal. Welcome to the Shruti Dutt Show and 10 News with 10 News. Every time I come to you and introduce you to somebody very, very interesting from whose life we can learn some beautiful lessons. So today I have with me a very, very interesting, very patriotic, authentic, simple, a person with a very undefeated spirit. And it's my good fortune to have brought him, been able to bring him on for my viewers today. So we will be meeting Ashwini Khurana of Karma Lakelands today. But before I bring him on, I would like to show you a little short video on what I'm talking about. His creation for all of us, especially the people who are living in Delhi, and what he has done for us and for our country. So can we have the video on for my viewers, please? Karma Lakelands. That's Karma Lakelands for you. And we have the president of Karma Lakelands, the man behind it. And let's all viewers, let's welcome him today to the show. Everybody watching from India and abroad, please write in where you're watching from so that we know you're connected to us. Very, very warm welcome to you, Ashwini ji.
Thank you.
So, Ashwini ji, I am really, really happy to see this video, and it's so beautiful, this place you've created for us. And you have called it the Karma Lakeland, which obviously means that you believe in karma like most of us Indians. And there is something very Indian about you, very patriotic about you, which I know. And I today, I want to first, we'll come to Karma Lakelands as a luxury place and as a beautiful place later. I want to first dive into your mindset of the kind of person you are and, the kind of thought process that you live with. So, tell me something. Let's go back to your young days and tell me how it all began. Your idea of working and what kind of work you would want to do. What were you like when you were in college or school? Did you ever think that you'll end up, creating such a beautiful place like this? Was it your passion right from childhood or not?
Uh, I grew up in a resettlement colony, Lajpat Nagar.
Okay.
Migrants from Pakistan were given small plots there. That's where I have grown up. I was sent to a fantastic school, uh, an English medium, a public school, kind of disproportionate to the living standards of the neighborhood where I grew up. So the Frank Anthony School was where I went. The unique thing was that I was one who did not come from an affluent family, affluent neighborhood. The father's line of business was selling lotteries, and it was a kind of a taboo to be, associated with. This caused a lot of angst to me because forget the peer group. I cannot ever forget Mr. Peter Vieira, one of the teachers when I was in class 6. He calls me up and says, "Hey, raffle man, father's business, uh, come up." So you go up and he says, "Tomorrow you're going to get me a winning lottery ticket from your dad's shop. If you don't bring it tomorrow, I cane you. When the draw of lots happens and you bring in the winning numbers, I check my ticket, I don't get a prize, I cane you again." You would not believe it. This was an abusive teacher. He actually caned me a couple of times, and caning meant red lines on your rear side, and it stung worse than a bee. And the peer group picked up the cue from this teacher, and I had to live with the kind of an abused childhood. But the beauty of it all was whoever asked me, "What would you do when you grow up?" I said, "I will sell lotteries for a living." My resolve to sell lotteries for a living was only get stronger despite the peer pressure, the caning, the ridicule. My family, nobody spoke English, so I had a huge issue there compared to the other children in the class. And all that was happening, but I was resolved. Little did I know that I'd grow up to be selling 5 crore lottery tickets a day at some point, and I'd become the country's highest taxpayer at age
Yeah.
28.
I want to come back to this classroom story. So you were absolutely defined, and you became even more strong-minded about being able to sell lotteries and really, being called the lottery man of India, whom everybody's, jaw just drops in awe when they listen to your story. So this was a determination made because of an abusive teacher. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
So
I called it
when it happened in class,
childhood. Yeah.
so how was the support you got from your family with your, about this? Self-esteem about the business and all. Like, I'm sure there must be people guiding you at home, or other teachers must have come to your rescue. Then,
Not really. The family, my parents stood by me. Uh, Even if they didn't speak English, they were extremely practical, wise, of course, loving and supporting. All parents are. So were mine.
yes,
And my father was a very proud man. He was a very astute, wise businessman, and that's what really mattered. No other teacher came to support. They didn't even get to know because
oh,
I'm scared if the principal is reported to, which eventually did happen, then the lashing and caning would only enhance. At that age, you are apprehensive in telling people because if you tell people the teacher knows you've been reporting about him, things can get worse. So you just kind of suffer in silence. At least that's what I did.
it's really sad, and I hope all the teachers who are listening are more aware. And this sort of
Now,
thing is not new. I have a friend who was ridiculed in school because he used to stammer, and he is now a TEDx speaker. So
oh,
that also is, he remembers his teachers who, kind of uh, shove him down and said, oh, you can only do back, work in the backstage. And he ended up becoming a chef. But later he came out of it and he decided that no, he's going to speak, and he corrected his speech. And now he is a TEDx speaker and he speaks in school and he encourages children, and he also talks to teachers to, not shun down children who may be having some kind of problem in whatever field, and to really keep them encouraged. So this is such a touching story that you've revealed to us today, which you never told any of your schoolmates or your teachers. So thank you so much for that. So you decided to become the lottery man no matter what, and just to show it, to them that yes, this is the business I'm proud of. I'm proud of my father. I'm proud of the business, and I'm going to take it to the next level, isn't it? Isn't that
well,
so?
next level, karma and destiny played it up. All I was
Okay.
resolute about was what I was going to do. I had no grand plans that I'll show it to the world what I am. This is what I'm going
Okay.
to do. And this is what I did. Magic
Okay.
happened.
So that is the humble, attitude you have, and the simplistic nature which you come across with. That okay, I just did it. I had no intention of just showing off to the world. It was just that what I had to do, and I did it. But you have taken decisions which have, yes, which have not been actually what would call the decisions of a businessman. You did share with me a little bit about that. I would like you to share, which man refuses to bring in crores to his treasury just because whatever he's being asked to do is going a little against his principles. It's not harming anybody majorly, but still it is not in tune with his principles. So that man is Ashwini Khurana, and I want you to share the story with everybody. How you put your country first, how you put your principles first. Please share that story.
There's this thing about cigarettes. When I was in the lottery business, interacting with an international major lottery player, trying to collaborate and do bigger things differently. Somebody on the conference table in London says, "Oh, you're selling 20 million lottery tickets a week. You could sell back, the back side of the lottery ticket as ad space." This sounded a great idea. I came back home and talked to various ad agencies. Linta's Advertising, one of the tops in the country, wanted to
Yes.
be the sole concessionaire selling ad space on the back of lottery tickets. The circulation was 20 million a week, and we worked out the numbers. Things that started to happen. Incidentally, the first advertiser brought to me was a cigarette company, and they said, "Look, this is the product." Ironically, just a few months prior, we declared all our office premises, residences as non-smoking zones, and at that time, this was not customary to do at all. Partners, senior executives were up in arms against me that you'll upset a lot of visitors to the offices. Our dealers would be upset. Don't mess around with your idiosyncrasies becoming so important to you. Anyways, I had steamrolled. Smoking was prohibited in the company premises. Here is a cigarette company wants to advertise their product on my lottery tickets and pay me fancy money. I took a call that I am trying to sell this ad space not for my bread and butter survival. I am trying to sell this space for my honey and jam, just to enhance my profits. And I'm not going to compromise on my principles. On the contrary, after a certain time, when we decided that we'll have to accept any business that comes to us, whether it fits in with our principles or not, we decided we are going to use ad space that we have for social advertising.
Wow.
So the first advertising was anti-smoking, grow more trees. When Babri Masjid was broken, national integration messages, whether I'm a Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian first or an Indian first, all these kind of messages we kept printing on our lottery tickets, not making money, but having a lot of fun. Eventually, 3 years of doing this, a survey was conducted. We were doing very well to find out customer profiling, what is making us take. The finding amazed us all because the finding was that lottery tickets of the kind my company was dealing with was largely termed as private lotteries because my company did the entire distribution and the major part of the operation. There were governments, which were state governments, which are doing direct management. Those were perceived as government lotteries. Mine was private lottery. High credibility to government lotteries, low to private lotteries. Sikkim lotteries is what I did. But enterprise-wise, private should always be better than government. Mine was the only lottery company because of social advertising. Everybody in the marketplace perceived it to be a government lottery product. So I got the government lottery product credibility more than real government lotteries.
Wow.
And in terms of enterprise, we were pretty good. So this deadly combination of best of credibility and enterprise, my company was the only one in the marketplace that had it. And we've moved from selling 20 million lottery tickets a week to 50 million lottery ticket sales a day. From
Wow.
2 crores a week to 5 crores a day. And
Five
I was
crores a
laughing
day.
all the way to the bank without this having consciously been decided as a business strategy. It happened.
Like, yeah,
Karma.
like you believe in karma, it was your karma that brought in the good fortune. You
Yeah.
decided to, do your business with social responsibility. And for a young man, I think you must be around 27, 26 at that time, to
Yes.
have this kind of social responsibility toward the nation and to continue to do their bit. I think it's so wonderful. And definitely anybody who does that, the karma should be rewarded, and I think you were duly rewarded for that by being able to sell 5 crore tickets in a day. That made you, I think you were, in the whole of the country, you were the highest taxpayer at that time at the age of 29. Isn't that so?
Yes, yes, indeed, I was. And I remained there for 10 years
You've remained that for 10 years.
thereafter.
And this
Yes.
man, who has been the highest taxpayer of our country, I would like to tell my viewers that I had a chat with his daughter and she told me a secret about him. She said, my dad says that whether you're owner, you can still be a sweeper. It depends on the demand of the situation. So, and don't let your ego come in. So that was something so wonderful, because these days I find, I doubt if those people are even paying one hundredth of the tax that you give the government. but they have their heads in the air and they don't want to do a lot of tasks which they feel are below them, you know. So this is some learning I feel should really go back. My viewers should go back with it from you. So thank you, Ashna is her name, his daughter's name, for that input, which I know Ashwini would have never told me the secret. So Ashwini, I have been doing some research behind your back and finding out a few things so that I could, for the benefit of my viewers. So I hope you don't mind that.
Please go ahead.
So next, I wanted to talk to you, like, since you are so strongly against tobacco, and personally, I'm also very against tobacco, and I have also run a program called Youth Against Tobacco in my NGO called Kaksha, and my niece has, managed to declare Delaware as a tobacco-free state in US. But we started because we had this, problem with pollution, and we had breathing issues. So we really felt that, it's so important to have clean air, and of course smoke always creates a problem. It creates allergies for children as well as old people. Did you have any such issue, or what was it that really made you such a antagonist against smoking? What was the reason?
You know, I just didn't like the smell of the cigarette smoke, and obviously it's pollutant. Then I considered it an obnoxious social habit because your breath stinks. You have bad breath. And why on earth would you want to have bad breath, spoil your health and the health of the people around you? You know, in fact, I tell people, it's okay if you take alcohol. You get drunk, you hurt your kidneys, liver, whatever, it's all right. At least you're not hurting others.
Others.
But this cigarette
Absolutely.
smoke is obnoxious to others. It's a bad social habit. And then I become resolute against it because I made hundreds of crores of rupees being anti smoking, kicking the cigarette ads, which were going to bring honey and jam, so to speak, on the platter. And I did not realize while kicking it that the business credibility of us being a government managed lottery, while we actually were not, would bring 10 times more than cigarette advertising would have brought in. So in life, I have learned it pretty early that if you do your karma right with passion and intensity, and not simply pursuit of money. Pursuit of money shouldn't be there. It should be an outcome of your deeper passion, of your right karmas. And that's been my learning, and that's how I'm. Can you imagine when Karma Lakelands Golf Course operations opened some 14 years ago? I was again up in arms because a lot of smokers, golfers are there, and there was apprehension that people wouldn't want to come and play golf at my course because we wouldn't allow smoking. To which my response was, look, right now it's going to be my way. This is going to be a non-smoking golf course. I'll give to the smoker 2, 3 smoking points, but you cannot have a cigarette in your hand and walk the golf fairway. I wouldn't allow that to happen. If I lose business in the beginning, that's all right. If for this reason I lose one golfer playing at my course, for the same reason, 3 more appreciating people would come and play. So for one business loss, I'm going to look for 3. This is my dream. This is my aspiration. And I never knew this would be a day that we are in today. Karma Lakelands is one of the busiest golf courses outside of the NCR today. And one reason is we absolutely do not allow smoking. And
Okay.
you go to the best of golf courses worldwide, especially in India, they're very fancy ones. Every 10 steps, you see a cigarette butt. At Karma Lakelands, our statement is we are at war against litterers, honkers, smokers, and suckers of straws because we want people to sip a drink, not suck a drink through a straw. Nowadays, yes, we have paper straws, but at Karma
Yes.
Lakelands, the uniqueness is a paper straw will be provided to a guest only upon request. We want you to sip your drink. And all these are environmental fun things we do, very different compared to others, and and we are very successful.
So it Karma Lakelands starts with, helping you understand the right concepts for good health, your right concepts for environment, your consciousness for, improving the environment. It's like a visit to Karma Lakelands will probably change your mindset completely and make you rethink, how negligent you've been. So a lot of mindfulness is there towards the environment, and I really, really appreciate that, Ashwini ji, because this is something which we all need to imbibe. Especially the youth, they must start understanding how important this is. So I'm totally with you on that, and I would like to, like this. You have planted more than a lakh of trees, I believe. You know and this determination, just like you had the determination to go ahead with the lottery business, you had some kind of determination to plant a lot of trees during your lifetime, and it started quite early, I believe. So tell us a little about that. How did it happen? um, what made you, and a lot of people do determine these things, but they don't actually manage to do it. So how did you determine, who encouraged you, and how did you manage to do it?
I was
Let's get the
like,
trees.
I was in my early 20s. I met this wonderful, wonderful gentleman who became my coach, friend, mentor, Nek Chand, the creator of the Rock Garden in Chandigarh. I used to go to Chandigarh often. I was doing the lottery business there, and I would visit the Rock Garden. I looked up to this gentleman, and at some point, I bought a piece of land, a brick kiln. This piece of land used to be in Delhi. This is my home now, and it's as green, as fertile as possible. At that time, when I bought the land, I just asked Nick Chinty, will you help me decide which trees to plant, how to go about it? I'm told this place is as arid as possible. And he said, sure, I'll come to Delhi one of these days. And eventually he did come to Delhi, became the best of friends, and planted trees, landscaped. I just looked up to the eco initiatives that Rock Garden was doing at that time in terms of water harvesting, mulching of the leaf fall, grass clippings. And, and at some point, I was 27 in 1987, I decided the joy I was getting from growing trees and see them come up was like you see your child grow. And it was overwhelming for me. So I announced that next 10 years I'm going to plant 100,000 trees. Every year, 10,000 trees. And then the
Wow.
guiding principle for me in doing this would be greening like charity begins at home but should not end there. So I started to break the sides of my house driveway to plant trees. Then outside the house, the roadside, the public park opposite my home in golf links was a piece of brown earth. I started to plant trees there. And 4 years, 4 years of planting trees, when I take stock, how many have survived, what number have I achieved? It was 28,000. It should have been
Wow.
40,000. So
20,000 trees in 4 years.
20,000. Yeah.
And
Now, in four
just
years.
a little bit, like, you just tell me a little bit more about the areas you did that, like outside your house, in the colony. Where else did you plant the trees?
Yeah, like I said, greening like charity begins at home but should not end there was my guiding principle. Started from the house, immediate boundary. I used to tell people, there's this saying, Ahem Brahmasmi. I will include the whole universe, but I will start from my house. And exactly, I kept doing that. At the right time, I was hugely in the media as the tax-paying top guy, and college people would come. Oh, can you sponsor our college festival? Schools would approach for funding. The local temple people would approach. The RWS would want contributions. Everybody needs contribution. Some hospitalization for the poor and underprivileged people would come. At some point, I decided my deepest calling was growing trees. Today it is environmental care. That time was growing trees. So I started to tell everybody, how much land have you got? Can I green it up, please? I planted
Oh,
trees in the local police station, colleges, schools in the neighborhood, roadsides, the Delhi prison, Tihar jail, the local police station. Interesting thing about the Delhi prison was the inmates planted the trees. The jail used to make compost themselves. Kiran Bedi, uh, the champion of jail reforms, was the IG. I used to play tennis with her at that time. I asked her, "Can I plant trees in your prison?" She said, "Oh, come on, be our guest." So 8,500 trees were planted in jail numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. 95% of these trees survived. Local police station where I planted, they said, "Oh, send us a pipe for irrigation also." I sent the pipe. 10% trees survived. So we've had a lot of fun. Eventually, I realized that I was running behind schedule in terms of numbers. So I started buying rural suburban lands of my own to grow trees. And that's how the 300-acre Karma Lakelands land acquisition happens.
Wow.
First you buy the land, then you realize the government wants to acquire land for their own urbanization, how to keep the government off your back from acquisition. So you just find out from experts what to do. Oh, get a golf resort approved because it will be a very low density development. So the government would
Okay.
not want to acquire your raw land. So I got the golf resort approval and eventually I had to implement it because approvals would lapse otherwise. And here I am, the cart before the horse story. There's no business plan driving your actions. Your karma is unfolding life to you in such a beautiful way. That's my story. That's my business.
Absolutely. That's so wonderful. So it was not that passion for golf, but it was the passion for trees that created the best golf course in our, city
I
suburbs.
started,
So,
yeah, yeah. Today, I play golf only once a day. And when I put the whole thing together, uh, I was neither a developer nor a hospitality businessman and definitely had no clue of what golf was all about. But today, I am doing all of the above.
now you're a golfer. So, so trees have taken you a long way. Your love for trees have created,
Only
Ashwini
increased with every
Khurana, the
passing year.
president of Karma Lakelands, a golfer, a philanthropist, and the man to go to if you need any bit of wisdom for life. So all of it rolled into one. So I'm really happy to have you on my show today, Ashwini ji. So tell me a little bit about like, so much money came in, so many riches, such a young, eligible person, bachelor with so much money. So, what did you do with the money initially? Did you go around buying cars and showing off? Did you go to, have a lot of girls around you? What did you do exactly? Like as a young man when you were really, really in that high. So, how did you react to your, of
See,
course, he was there, but what were your other passions?
See the byproduct of the schooling years that I just shared probably was responsible in making me an introvert, which today I am. So chasing girls, the success rate was extremely
You didn't
poor.
chase them, they must have chased you.
So eventually, when I had the money, I didn't have the time to chase the girls. Anyway,
Okay.
school times, the success rate was pretty much like zero. And
Okay.
who doesn't want to be a success there? So did I. But yeah. But then once I made my big money and 25, 26 years of age, I started to enjoy in fast cars. I still remember that one day in my life, I bought 7 foreign cars one same day. And
Wow.
today I do drive a Lexus, but I change a car after 15 years when she
Wow.
really gets. And
Yes.
so I've had my fun
And
spending
you've
big.
grown to a level of maturity where you feel you don't really need the 7 cars, but you need probably more trees. That's what you said once,
I'm
right?
back to trees. I started with trees. I hung on to trees. I'm back to trees. Now, pretty aged cars I drive and enjoy and change them after 10, 15 years, not, many times a year and 7 cars in a tow together.
So,
So,
yeah. So coming back to Nekchandji, he showed you a lot of ways on soil conservation, on how to really go about looking after the garden. I think you got all your basics of horticulture through him. And he was, of course, a very great person. And I'm so glad that you connected to him. And I hope a lot of youngsters connect to you and learn these things. You're able to take them forward in whatever lands they have or whatever places they have, which they can develop to, develop them with that consciousness. So you have talked about, of course, rainwater harvesting you do, but there is something called soil energizing which you do. So I would like you to share with my viewers what is the soil energizing? How do you do it in a very organic way, and how does it really help on multiple different layers? Of course, it helps the plants and other things. So tell us something about that.
You know, Nekchanji was a great factor in my life, got me eco passionate. And as years have gone by, I had to deal with truckloads of biomass, leaf fall, not just at the 300-acre Karma Lakelands campus, my home in Vasant Kunj farmhouse. And then I run the neighborhood association there, and people have to get rid of their leaf fall because it happens in truckloads during fall season. Every day anyways you're clipping your grass and all. So we started to research on how to deal with this issue, because all this leaf fall from my colony used to be dumped in the forest close by, and then they would burn the dry leaves, and there'd be lots of fires all around, and pollution and coughing and all would happen. So one day we started to research, and where we've reached now, at my place, whether it's Vasant Kunj or Karma Lakelands, the leaf fall, the biomass gets piled up, and with the sewage that our places generate, we spray the sewage onto the top of the biomass. Beauty is the process is very clean because you don't have to touch anything. And once sewage is sprayed and it goes all on the biomass, it starts to expedite decomposition, and the pile temperature goes from 50 to 70 degrees. It's really hot inside because there's expedited decomposition at play. And this creates a great soil energizer, a biocompost. There is no smell, no flies, no mosquitoes. And there's this Hindi word, mitti ki sondhi khushbu, the sweet.
Yes. Where have we lost him? Yes. We lost you for a second. Are you back? We seem to have lost Ashwini ji for some technical issues. Is your internet working? Can we check on that? So while we're waiting for him to reconnect, I just wanted to share that he has this whole process of soil energizing, which converts his biomass by putting sewage water on top of that, and it finally converts into absolute, good nourishing um, khad for the plants and the trees at his place. And this was something I really wanted him to discuss in detail himself, because the area I live in, also people have this habit of bringing dry leaves together and putting a light to them. I've been trying to fight this for the last 10 years. It has greatly decreased, but the awareness of the harmful effect of just burning those leaves, and the alternative with which you can create so much of nourishment for your plants by doing the soil energizer method, which is absolutely simple. There is nothing very difficult, everybody can implement it. So I think we all should, wherever there are people who have this problem of dry leaves, especially in the month of March, a lot of leaves are falling. It's the right time to connect to these kind of practices, and to make sure that you not only not burn them and create more pollution, but also use them in a very positive way. So I don't know what the problem is, why he's not being able to reconnect, but while we're waiting for him, I can also just share a little bit about, Ashwini ji about his. Yes, I think he's back with us. Yes, are you back? Was it an internet issue?
Yeah, there was some technical glitch.
Okay. So I've been talking about your soil energizer, bit to my viewers while you were away. So quickly, just can you just give a tip to, people who are, because season of March, a lot of falling leaves are there, especially in Delhi. So what should they do if they're living in a place where there are lots of dry leaves? What would your advice to them be? How should they do it? Should they just light a match and just burn it all up, or what should they do?
Well,
So
burn it all up, you're harming your lungs, your children's lungs. Even if you don't love yourself, you're smokers, but sure you love your children
and the older people.
and your parents.
Elderly. Yes.
So,
So how
so
does one get rid of it? Like collect the leaves and then
see, the best thing is YouTube will teach you everything. I have YouTube videos as well. Biocomposting, Ashwini Khurana on water harvesting, Ashwini Khurana on tango dance. So I've been having a
okay,
lot of.
so yes, so this is a request to the viewers to not burn leaves and go back to Ashwini ji's channel and look up the videos. You will get a good understanding on what to do and how to do to get rid of your leaves in a very positive way and to create, the right kind of khad for your plants through your biomass, right? So
Important. Like
yeah,
uh,
so that yeah,
taken next level, we deal with about 200,000 liters of sewage, truckload of biomass every day. My
yeah.
neighborhood
So
or our area of influence. So that's a little bit more dicey and technical. Uh, the RTSOI, the Responsible Tourism Society of India, has taken us on their panel and they all hotels to see how can be managed soil energy, sorry, night soil with biomass to soil energizer. So,
yes.
that's technical, but a layperson can really, learn a lot from the YouTube and take it forward.
Yes. अश्विनी जी हम लोग कलयुग में रहते हैं. No matter how much social responsibility you have, no matter you're a sage, even sages, saints are persecuted in this kind of century that we are in at the moment. So, and I know you've had your fair share of troubles in life, and since my show is all about people who have overcome their troubles and really gone forward with a very positive mindset. So I would really want you to, share with us your deepest struggles as a businessman and then as a, person. So we'll come to that now. So what was your, when you were trying to close down the lottery business, you went through some issues. So can you just share all that with us?
Yeah. In my last company, I was the youngest. Eventually, as initial periods went on, the business simply exploded. The other partner, a major partner, was semi-literate, and we had to hire MBAs, chartered accountant professionals, and we had to corporatize. It was pretty much like a mom and pop show when we began. So eventually, many years of great business, a lot of money went to partners and to my family. But there was angst because I got all the recognition. I was the star. So money becomes secondary after. So there was angst, and business closed. We had partner conflict. The lowest of lows, as an outcome of the partner, was my spending 3 weeks in jail. But believe you me, I had been on the path of spiritualism through my master and Sadguru of Isha Yoga. Kriya Yoga I was doing every day. Jail time was one of the most pleasant times of my life. I have to be truthful, although it an exaggeration, but my family and close friends saw how much fun I had in those 3 weeks of being in jail. And this is part of bad times that in a very short while I went through. I lost two children in a car crash. I lost spent time in jail. There were tax raids. And in a few months, all this was happening. But thankfully, my Kriya Yoga, my thoughts, the blessings of my master got me out pretty much unscarred and positive, throbbing with energy, is moving on beautifully now. There we are.
Wonderful. So you had fun time in jail, and I remember you shared with me that the same trees which you had planted during Kiran Bedi's time, those trees served you to give you some shade while you were there.
Yes,
So it's so interesting, how things come around.
yes, some 50.
And of course,
Sorry,
yes,
I'm saying some
continue.
50.
You were saying something.
Yeah, it was about 15, 20 years later, I revisited the jail, but this time as an inmate. Earlier times, I used to sit next to Kiran Bedi and the jail inmates would plant trees and social programs that we sponsored to encourage responsible living and practices would happen. But
Yeah.
later, when we uh, was
But
back to
because of Sadhguru's guidance, because of inner engineering, you were not never traumatized because you knew that you were falsely implicated. And like you said, Satyamev Jayate, Saach ko aach nahi. And you decided to undergo the trials without giving in to the pressures of, giving the wrong parties money and getting out of it or scrambling out of it. So that just shows what a strong mind and you have developed by your kriyas. So tell us a little bit more about Sadhguru and inner engineering. A lot of people are great fans of Sadhguru, including me. And I would really like to hear how you connected and what all benefits you had by connecting to his practices.
this was about 16 years ago when I did the first program conducted personally by Sat. There was an intimate group of about 40 people, and
Yeah.
I started to do the Kriya yogas that teaching. And the beautiful thing that happened was at some point I realized that Sadhguru and I had a common connect, and that was golf. He was a golfer, and I was a new golfer, and I had a golf of my own. So I
This is a
one
new aspect of Sadhguru. I knew he loved bikes and he bikes around, but I didn't know he was a golfer too.
oh he's a golfer, and I've had
Wow.
some time he and me for 5 hours on a golf course in Kathmandu for the next days, and this has happened many years at a particular time of the year. The the beautiful blessing that I have had is Sadhguru's personal time one on one. Today, the crores of people following him, people would
Absolutely.
a fortune and be willing to do anything just to get 2 minutes with him. And I've got hours at a time with him. And the beautiful thing is, I've learned how to keep a positive, pleasant interiority unrelated to external life challenges.
Wonderful.
Whenever life challenges bounced back very quickly, it did not let me down. And that's how I would say it's happened.
So no matter what is going around you, you stay put with a strong internal, understanding of yourself and soul. So no matter how the seasons change, you remain who you are. Isn't
That's
that
right.
so?
Drama of life that's happening. If you understand that this is just a myth, drama, this is Maya, and just play your part the
So
best you.
how much time do you spend? Like, can you just share a bit of your daily routine? Like, what is your perfect day like? What do you do during the day?
I wake up at 5:45 a.m. and I have half an hour chanting, and then I do my yoga, hatha yoga, kriya yoga, pretty much 2 to 3 hours the morning is my sadhana. So
Wow.
it's then it sets me up, my interior physical body, to take the world on. I can't even tell you the that come up. Doing litigation, company existential, that doesn't bother. The drama is on, whatever will be. And these 2 3 hours of sadhana that I various things, chanting, Ati Yoga, various things. And eventually there's also the blessings of the it's working wonders to me.
Wow. So this is like all the energy, all the good fortune, everything is coming out of your meditations and your, strength to stay put no matter what happens. Am I right?
And the in terms of being very passionate about responsible living, as we
Yes.
shared, water harvesting, composting, you know, urban cleanse, we wouldn't get anybody even at the gate. The guard responds to sight, not sound, and the place as gets.
Okay, tell me quickly something about this project of the children you're looking after at Karma Lakelands. How did that begin, and where did all these children come up from? Like you taking care of so many children. Whose kids are they?
Well, you know, when the golf course construction and was on, I used to be very paranoid. This is a hard hat area. Construction is on. The children, ironically, are running around. So initially, I was just worried that we didn't have an accident to happen. And the solution was to set a daycare center, make it compulsory for all construction workers' children to be dropped at this spot, and their parents go for work inside. So, and then once I started to bring up the children, the love affair happened. And it's normal, when you interact, the love affair happens. And now send them to proper school. The children get their food in the daycare. If they need tuitions, tutor in the evening. And my partner, Dicky, he works with them so that the talented ones, the ones that have grown up, come and help us in our gardening, restaurant. And, we're working on their viability. Initially, we sent them to school. Some of them have grown up. Now they are uh, being got ready for the.
So wonderful. And you're
Yeah.
just great emotion to look after the children of your workers has given you a completely devoted team of people who are supporting you now as youngsters at Karma Lakeland. Isn't that so wonderful? So, and also somewhere I was told that you went into bee farming and selling honey is the money that helps these children, sustain this, the whatever you need for the kids at the NGO. So, how did the bee farming start, and what is it all about? Like everything in your life, like seems to be connected. You actually try to create a good cause, and then it brings in good fortune. So
Yes.
this is
Yes.
so wonderful. Like everywhere, I can see that. Like they say, na, whatever kind of seeds you sow, you will reap the benefit. So you sow the seeds of good causes, and you get a lot of return in good fortune. And the best part is that you never even want to talk about it. You're so humble about it. But on this show, I want you to really share everything frankly. So tell us about why you started bee farming and how is it? How do you organize this whole thing?
You know, at some point, I realized how important bees are for the survival of life on this planet, and then reading too much of chemical use is extinguishing the bee numbers and thereby hurting the plant life planet. And what to do about it? People need to promote pollination. So that pursuit of promoting pollination got the bees, and then they started to expand more and more bee boxes. And the byproduct of the pursuit of promoting pollination was the honey. And then at some point we realized we were starting to uh, harvest more than 1,000 kilograms a year of honey, and
Wow.
this is unprocessed, natural, the best honey that I have actually personally experienced in the world. I've compared it with New Zealand, Australian honeys, because this is not commercially done. This is done with love, no processing, no heating, local honeys. So eventually we had to, so we started to use it in our restaurants, our signature drink, the karma drink, our own honey, but there's too much. So we started giving it to people. And a lot of people fell in love with the quality of this honey. And then there would be repeat requests, and there'd be embarrassment. People don't want to be obliged by free supplies of honey unendingly. And then we came across this, okay, we'll give you honey. You want to pay back? You give any contribution to the.
Children.
So that's what's today. We don't sell honey really, but we happily accept
Awesome.
for the NGO in lieu of the honey that we give to you. And it'll give you great health.
This is so beautiful. So, all my viewers who are watching, please go help out at the NGO and get that pure honey, which is the best in the world, which you will never get anywhere, and improve your health thereby. And also, if you go and eat at the Lakeland restaurant, you will be served organically grown vegetables. Am I right, Ashwini ji? So
Absolutely.
tell us a little bit about how you manage to grow these veggies organically, and what sort of, like, do you need any kind of special fertilizers or something apart from your, how do you go about it? Like,
See,
don't you use any kind of sprays to protect your veggies?
the on-course restaurants, the under the name restaurant at Karma Lakelands, they have a theme from farm to fork, or from farm to table. So we
Yeah.
grow a lot of vegetables and herbs. Uh, they are used in our restaurants, and the compost is produced by us, and
Yes.
the plants, as much as possible, go on to the tables for food to our guests. And
Just out of curiosity, I'm just getting you there because since you have so many birds at the lakeland, also there must be peacocks and other birds. So, do you need to protect your, saplings and seeds, etc., from the birds? How do you go about doing that?
well, if you produce more than the birds can handle, planet has always provided abundance for everybody. The birds, bees, butterflies, bugs, human beings. In fact, we are the worst on the planet in terms of harming our own sustenance, our own mother. But that's another story. And at Karma Lakelands, we for everybody, and the aesthetics, and lots of people are coming and enjoying. I
I
think
had some
we
pictures which I wanted to share with my viewers. Can I request the tech team to show the pictures? And Ashwini ji, after they've shown the pictures, if you could just give your comments on the pictures that we have.
absolutely.
And let's make it quick because we've been chatting for an hour. Do you realize that? We didn't get to know. It's been so interesting. Thank you so much for that. So,
Okay.
Tech Team, can you show us the pictures? So, I don't know if they're being able to listen to me. I would like the pictures to be brought on screen for the viewers. So, in case there is an issue and they're not being able to show, I would request my viewers to check out Ashwini ji's YouTube channels. You'll be able to see a lot of pictures, and not just the YouTube channels. You must make a visit to Karma Lakelands. Ashwini ji, can you tell us where it is and how we can reach there?
Karma Lakelands is on the Delhi Jaipur highway. One of uh, residents of Karma Lakelands, while we are 20 minutes from downtown Gurgaon, we are a million miles away from noise, pollution, and buzz. That's how I would like to sum it up. Look forward
It's
to
an
have you.
absolute haven, and you also have luxury villas where you can stay. And do you give the villas out on rents, or are there rooms available on rents? How is it organized?
Well, in terms on the commercial side, we have the 100,000 square feet club where events, weddings, corporate. There's a boutique hotel, uh, beautiful restaurants, Encore, the Neem, Pizza Bay, and two swimming pools in the club, a heated one all season outdoors. And the best part is the visual delight of walking on a golf course. You might spot sparrows which have disappeared from our
In
NCR.
Delhi?
Uh,
Yes.
and, the bird life here, the explosion of it uh, would just leave you open mouthed, shall we say?
So it's not only a golf course, it's also a bird sanctuary. It has a lot of trees. It's like if you want a forest bath, you can just go there, have a walk. If you want to, have parties, you can go there and enjoy the restaurant. If you even want to get married, you can take the place. And as I saw that it really doesn't need too much decoration. It has so much natural beauty, and you can have a beautiful wedding at the venue. And what
You know,
more?
the photo op that a golf course can provide in the backdrop, no hotel banquet hall provide, and this is the
Absolutely.
that our wedding venue remains packed and all sold out most of the time. But
Yes.
we want more friends coming in to enjoy the uniqueness of our place. Welcome to Karma Lakelands.
And I think during the pandemic, during COVID, it was an absolute delight to visit the Karma Lakelands for whoever could go there. And of course, we are overshooting time, but 2 minutes, I want you to share, what kind of celebrations you have on 15th August and 26th January at Karma Lakelands where people can join in.
Daily singing ritual at Karma Lakelands. There's a meditation ritual. So we have some fun rituals, but I've seen most Indians when they stand up for the national anthem often get moist-eyed. You know that the deep joy of being patriotic for a moment, the country, gives you so much, deep satisfaction. And I often tell people, the country will not benefit by your singing the national anthem or not singing. But look at it the other way around. The country will have one more person with positive, beautiful energies. That's what
Absolutely.
being the national anthem and so positive rituals at Karma Lakelands make it happen.
Yes, absolutely. Staying connected to the country's core, staying connected to your, staying united, thinking of your country as a united whole is so, so important. And our national anthem is considered one of the best in the world. So I personally love singing Jan Gan Man. And in fact, it was the first nursery rhyme I taught my own children. So I began by teaching Jan Gan Man to them. I didn't teach them any of the English rhymes first. So I totally, I'm in sync with that thought process of yours. And on that note, with Jangan Man, salute to the country, salute to the great Indians of our country, you being one of them. I will now take leave of our viewers and thank you once again, Ashwini ji, for accepting this invite to share your, deepest moments with us. And I think we've learned a lot. We've learned the lesson of social responsibility. We've learned the lesson of creating good causes and not really running after money. And money runs after those who create good causes. So you have proved it to all of us. And thank you so much for that.
Namaskar, Shruti. Salute and Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Thank you so much.
Thank you.